Hey, did any of y'all ever like scrap when y'all was younger? Y'all ever do the ones or whatever the case? Y'all ever have to get busy? Somebody try to test your gangster stuff like that? Alright, so this piece is about that, okay? This piece is called Golden Gloves.
Alright.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe any of my childhood foes whose faces gaped and claimed that their hands were registered when it was time to run a fade were ever telling the truth. You know, I don't believe any of their hands were registered. The state never classified the fingernailed edges of their extremities as weapons. As a matter of fact, I Googled it. And apparently only Guam, the island itself, has any edict closely related to hands being registered as weapons. Yes, you heard me correctly, Guam. The physical island is also a metaphorical island on matters of hands being registered as weapons. There was never a Golden Gloves championship bout. Dijon mustard-colored construction paper was about as close to Golden Gloves as these young brothers was going to get. And the only championship they ever had was because they used to lay on the floor of the second floor bathroom of Garrity Elementary with their shirts up, and they flexed really hard, and they held their breath, and they looked over the bridges at their noses and their upper lips to show two other kids who were also skipping class that they had the best abs. When in actuality, all they really had was the least amount of fat because they was 9. And even though their diet consisted of hot Cheetos and strawberry milk from school lunches, they ran everywhere and they sweat all the time. And again, they were 9. I think it was all a mask. A conversational ruse, a presentation to prevent an altercation that any 9-year-old is ill prepared for today. We consider ourselves too old for the possibility, but when you're 9, we're all afraid of getting punched in the face. So we lie. They lie. A fabrication here, a fib there, and a crisis is averted. The stitches are left on the suture spool and we leave school uninjured. I get it. I never made the braggadocious boxing claims, but I get it. I too flattened my back against the cold restroom floor and flexed and held and looked and proved and thought I'd made my point. And while I was never champion, I was frequently cognizant. A different kind of title. A shinier medal. You see, when I was a boy, I believe I knew I was a boy and could only ever be as strong as another boy could be, and somehow, some way, that kept me honest. It kept me conscious of my ever constant need for protection, and there should be no problem with that. There should be no harm in running for sanctuary when there's trouble afoot, especially if the shoes light up when they dash toward the arms of a mother or behind the thigh of a big brother. There should never be a dispute on how youths should solve issues. We should all agree that their faces and their pride should both be intact by the conclusion of the disagreement. We should all agree that boys should only ever be out of breath from laughing their lungs into submission and never from catching 60 in the 360. We should all agree. We should all understand that our 9-year-old fish should never be weapons, but rockets that shoot into the sky with excitement as fuel. Our 9-year-old minds should only ever create lies about the broccoli we gave to the dog, or the vegetables that we put underneath the table, or the hot Cheetos we were supposed to eat for tomorrow's lunch. And y'all, our 9-year-old bodies, our 9-year-old hands should only ever see gloves as an opportunity to throw more snowballs. See, we boys should be golden. We boys should be golden. And like anything of worth, anything of value, anything that means something to somebody, we should be protected. We are only boys. We cannot provide ourselves with our own. We must lie to do so. So, cover us. Keep us honest.